And we are live. Bestseller. We got a bestseller in the house. We have the one and only Mr. Douglas, also known as Doug Wing. I'm going to bring him on here in a second, but I got to tell you guys that we really need you to go pick up a copy of his new book called Giant Success. Pick it up over on Kindle. Share this out, please. Excuse me. So sorry. Hey, Larry Schneider's in the house. Larry, how you doing? So pick up a copy of Doug's book over on Amazon, the Kindle version. I'm going to drop the link in the comments here in just a second. But for right now, let me bring the one, the only, the great Doug Wing on. Doug, congratulations. Welcome, my brother.
Holy cow. It's a wonderful day today. Thank you, Ken. It's my dad's 82nd birthday today, and I picked this day because to honor him and to celebrate his birthday. I think that he's smiling, and I hope he's happy, and it's a great day. I'm really excited to be here, and I appreciate you, Ken, everything you've done to help me with this. Thank you.
Dude, I am honored, beyond honored, and I'm telling you that this book, I started reading it. It was delivered to me last night, and I started reading it on the Kindle version. And just so everybody knows, the publisher was not able to get the hardback version out yet. That'll be available on giantsuccess.com next week, and sometime probably towards the end of the week. We're thinking. Hang on, I'm trying to copy this link and all this stuff. But the what we're working on today, and we really need y'all. We need your help. And I just posted the link in the comments on my personal page. But we need your help, because what we want to do is we want to get Doug to #1 bestseller status. There's the link that I just, if you guys can click on that, it's $1.99 right now on Amazon Kindle. You can download the Kindle app to your phone, your iPad. You can read it. I'm telling you, it is a game changer. This book is phenomenal. Scott said, I just got my Kindle copy of Doug's book. Now I need to see whose email address I have to send a copy to. That's awesome, man. Larry, thank you for sharing this out. So look, we and Jose, hey. Saman from Bangladesh, welcome. Darlene Eaton, welcome. Ron Jones is in the house. Oh my gosh, we have superstar celebrities joining us, man. That's crazy. Robert Brooker is in the house. Robert, I believe, said he grabbed a copy of the Kindle version. That's awesome. So listen, go over, grab a copy of the Kindle version. There's the link. I dropped it in the comments on my personal page. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll try to figure out how to go in, and let me see if I can drop this here. I can drop it on Breakthrough Walls. I'll drop it there. Just in case we have anybody watching over on the Breakthrough Walls page. Let's see. I can also drop it in on the Doug Wing page. I can do that because I know we got people watching from the Doug Wing page. So I'm going to drop it over there. So listen, go grab a copy, the Kindle version. It's $1.99. Grab a copy of it. Let's get Doug to the bestseller status. I just got to notice it's not. LinkedIn is having a problem. There's a shocker. That happens quite often with LinkedIn. But anyway, so Doug, let's talk about this book, man. Like this book is like I said, I started reading it last night and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I could not believe it." It is so, I mean, I've read bits and pieces of it. Obviously, my wife helped you write the book, and you know, it was a kind of a joint effort that y'all did together. And so I've read bits and pieces of it, but I really started reading the story in the chronological order, and it's phenomenal, man. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, and you know what? This took me, because I'm not very smart. It took me 18 months to do it.
You're incredibly smart, actually.
Amazing, but you know, I've never done a book before, and thanks to some really, really good support and guidance and encouragement. It was hard. We talked about this last night. You know, I told you, I said I kind of stopped doing it for a while, and you know, you kicked my butt a couple of times, but no, I mean, Hal Wing's life was unbelievable, amazing. He was, the thing is I grew up with him as a dad, right? And so I don't think you realize how sometimes how amazing, you know, your friends are or your family members are until, you know, other people start telling you these stories. And so, you know, as I got into this project, I started getting all these amazing stories and interviews I did with people, and I was like, man, my dad truly was an amazing man, and he was just so gifted and helped so many people, and he just knew how to work with people, and you know, be in business with integrity and honesty and fairness, and it was just a go-getter. I mean, he was
Yeah.
his and you know, his self-belief, his confidence, his just everything about him was amazing.
You know, what's interesting is he left so Hal Wing was in the army, stationed in Germany. That's where he met your mom. She's from Germany.
Mhm.
And you know, the story is incredible. In the book, you talk about how your dad was in Germany in the army. Your mom slammed the door in his face the first time she met him. But he eventually, because he was one hell of a salesman, he he convinced her to marry him. You were born in Germany, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, so he runs it. He's selling insurance at one point. His career was in the insurance world. He ended up in Germany in the insurance business, and that's where he runs into was he a painter? The guy was a painter that
It
had
was.
designed a really inferior version of what now exists, but it was the beginning of the Little Giant ladder.
Mm.
And Ben Gay the third, we have another huge celebrity legend on here with us. Holy mackerel. So your dad, the story is phenomenal in the book. So you know, your dad ends up, um he loved the ladder, and he's like, I want to take this back to the United States. And he brought it back, started telling everybody about it, sold a whole container full, and or got commitments for a container full of ladders. And after getting the first bunch of ladders, those people said, oh, we changed our minds. So he went out and drove all over the United States in a station wagon selling ladders.
Yeah,
And that's where it started. It's unbelievable where it all started.
yeah.
There, LaDon Smith says, hey, Doug. So
Yeah, and this is 1972, Ken. A long time
that's
ago.
crazy, man. And you know, just so everybody knows, I mean, your this company, he turned this into well, with your help and a lot of other people, it turned in, when you retired from there, it was a $200 million per year company.
Yes.
That's crazy. Started from nothing and had 7 kids and a wife.
He was, yeah, very, yep. Very driven guy. I mean, unbelievable. Yeah. When I was in junior high and high school, my dad was gone over 300 days a year, and people don't realize the sacrifice that he made in his family, and it was big time, big time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that is absolutely insane. So this and the whole story and the stories of the lives, because you interviewed 39 people, is that right?
Hmm.
39 people for this book that were either family members, they were colleagues, employees, that I mean, so and distributors, friends, just people that I mean, your dad made such a splash in this world. He made a huge, it was like he was born into this world screaming cannonball. Like he just made a giant splash in this world and touched the lot. Like I know he wasn't he friends with the governor of Utah, and he eventually became. I mean, it's incredible what he accomplished.
Yeah, he was on both President Reagan's and President Bush Senior's business. They had a business committee in the White House, and he was served on there as well. So I mean, he was big time, But But here's the thing about Hal Wing that I think will give people a lot of encouragement and hope is my dad wasn't born with wealth. I mean, his parents were not wealthy people, and he started with nothing, and he lost everything once, and almost lost everything a couple other times down the road, and he was a self-made man.
He was, wow, dude. First off, I want to say congratulations to you because you are a best-selling author officially. You're a best-selling author. What's really cool is right now, and they refresh these statistics about once every hour. Right now on Amazon, this book is ranked number 4 in free enterprise. It's number 27 in startups, number 37 in free enterprise and capitalism,
Wow,
dude.
that's so cool.
You're number 4. You're that close. Come on, you guys. It's $1.99. Let's support Doug and go get a copy on Kindle. It's $1.99 right now. That's so awesome, dude. You're that close to being number 1 best-selling author, bro. Congratulations for where it is right now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I mean, in the beginning, I was like, okay, I want to do this because my dad, before he passed away, he started writing a book, and I'm like, I really need to do this to finish his book and, kind of help with his legacy and things like that. And then, it just kind of took off from there. Yeah.
It's unbelievable what's happening, man. And so tell, I mean, my favorite story of your dad and what he did for the guy who had his leg blown off. Tell that story. I'm going to give you full screen. I want you to tell the story in detail about what happened. Yes, Darlene, there is a paperback available on Amazon. And I can, let's see if I can drop that link too. I'll drop that link as well. Now, next week, at some point, probably towards the end of the week, Doug's going to make available. Let's see. On my way to get a copy of Doug Wing. Let's get you in the Business Renovator too. Yes, you need to go live in the Business Renovator with Phil. So we want to get this book to number 1 on Kindle today. On the Kindle app is what our focus is. So if you guys would just go. I posted the link. I'll post it again. Let's all go. I mean, it's $1.99. I mean, you have that probably in the console of your car. Let's just let's drop $1.99 on this amazing man, and I'm talking about you, Doug. You are, dude. You know what? In preparation for preparing or for releasing this book, Doug's given away, I don't even know how many ladders that he out of his own pocket. He does not get them for free. He doesn't own the company anymore. He owns the building. He just doesn't own the company. but Doug has out of his own pocket bought ladders for people that have been involved in our live streams. He's bought them, paid for them out of his pocket, and shipped Little Giant ladders to people all over the US. And you also purchased for people to be a part of the Grow Live Academy. You're an amazing, you are, I mean, your name should be Hal Wing Jr., quite frankly. Because that's who you are. I came and visited you a couple of weeks ago out in Phoenix, and we went to some of the top restaurants, I believe, on planet Earth. I know I had the best steak I've ever had, and Doug wouldn't let me pay. I did offer. Doug would not let me pay for anything. Like, he's like, here, buddy, let me give you the money for gas. I'm like, no. Stop, dude. But that's just who he is. He's a giving, loving, caring person. And I really want everybody to support Doug. Go over and get a Robert Brooker. He's so funny. I've searched the current car up and down, only found 10 cents so far. Oh, that's funny. Jose said, just bought the Kindle version. Very excited to start reading it. Wait till you start reading this. You're not going to believe it. It is phenomenal. It really is. So let's support Doug and help him out and share this stream out. Share it out so everybody can go get a copy of the Giant Success book. But tell the story the story I'm talking about, dude.
Yeah.
Tell the story about the guy in the hospital. There's the link, by the way, for everybody. Just go over to Amazon, use that link right there. I know you can't click it. If somebody would take the time and type that out in the comments for me, just slowly type that out and put it in the comments. If you put it in the comments, it will be clickable. So I would really, really, really appreciate it if you did that. So Doug, tell the story of how your dad changed the life of a man who just lost his leg.
Yeah, for sure. I know this is one of your favorite stories.
It's my favorite story.
But my dad had this unique ability to know when people needed him, and I think that's a big part of this book, is that you'll see that he was in the right place at the right time, and made a difference in people's lives. And one of them is Steve Curtis. And it's funny because when I was interviewing Steve, I interviewed him and his wife together, and so his wife Vicky's saying, "Hey, tell him about your dad." Tell him about his dad coming to see you in the hospital. And Steve goes, "Well, your dad came and visited me in the hospital." And she goes, "That's not how it." She goes, "There's a story behind this." So she told the story, which was really kind of neat. Anyway, so Steve Curtis was, from Springville, but was involved. He worked in some kind of a manufacturing facility, and he had a machine he was working on that somehow exploded. So this machine exploded, and it sent shrapnel into his body. He had wounds in his chest and his arms, but he had a very severe injury to his leg right below his knee, and almost tore his whole leg off right there. And so they rushed him into the hospital, where he was in shock and in really critical condition. And so they rushed him to the hospital. They're really trying to focus on saving his leg. And you know how hard it is, Ken, to get into, emergency, especially, when people are in ICU and it's a really, life-threatening situation. Well, his wife says they're working on him. They're trying to stabilize him. Of course, he's in shock, and, work on trying to save this leg of his. And she says, "I'm the only one in there with the doctors and nurses. I look up there and your dad's in the room." And she says, I'm in shock. She's like, how did he find, number one, how did he know about this? And then number two, how did he get into the emergency room?
Because it's family only.
It's family only. And so
Yeah.
she says, how did you get in here? And he goes, oh, that was easy. I just told him he was my brother. And, but he, as the story goes on, you'll see that he was serious. He really did consider Steve to be his brother.
And he didn't know him, and he didn't know Steve.
Yeah, he knew him. They weren't best
Oh.
friends or anything. Yeah.
Okay.
So he did know him, but he was more, familiar with his wife, who he saw at the bank all the time.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so during this process, nobody's paying attention to really Steve the way he looks. I mean, they're trying to take care of his wounds and injuries, and he's got his face and his arms and hands are all black from this explosion. And she says, your dad just disappears for a few minutes and comes back, and he's got a washcloth and soap and water, and he starts washing Steve's face down and his hands and his arms and cleans him all up. And
wow.
She said, which was just incredible. Here he just showing such compassion and kindness and gentleness to him. And as soon as he got done cleaning, him up, she said, I'll never forget, he leaned down to Steve and said to him in his ear, you really are my brother. And when you get out of here, you're going to have a job with me, working for me and my company. And he left. That was it.
Wow.
But the story continues because, so again, Hal shows up, my dad shows up at the hospital and somehow knows he needs him. But then the story continues. Steve ended up having his leg amputated, which, none of us can imagine what that would be like, to have this terrible accident, you lose your job, this happens at your work, and your boss that you worked for doesn't really care, doesn't come to see you. But this guy does, Hal Wing does. And then the very day that he gets out of the hospital, the story continues. Steve goes home. He's depressed. I mean, I would be too, right? We all would be.
Yeah.
Doesn't know how he's going to support his family. Doesn't know what he's going to do. He's got, half of a leg. But the very first person that called him when he got out was my dad. And how he knew again that he was out, we don't know.
Wow, there's another huge celebrity with us. Larry Broughton is on. Dude, this guy's a rock star. Larry, it's great to see you, man. You've been in my thoughts and prayers. He's such a good man. Such a good man.
So just continuing on. Thank you, Larry. Continuing on, Steve gets the first phone call he gets is from Hal Wing. And he says, Steve, how you doing? And he goes, well, he says, I'm not doing too good. They had to take my leg, and I'm sorry, Hal, I'm not going to be able to work for you. And my dad said to him, well, Steve, you can answer the phone, can't you? He goes, yes, I can do that. And he says, well, the job is still yours. You'll be working, for me, and you'll be starting out in customer service, and you can talk to people on the phone, and it's there whenever you're ready. So, a few weeks later, Steve comes to work for the company, ends up working the rest of his career at Little Giant. But it kind of continues on with Steve. He said, I became kind of your dad's little helper as far as helping people, excuse me. And so my dad would call Steve and say, meet me out in front of this address, in front of this house. And he said the first time it ever happened was he called him and said, meet me at this address. He shows up, your dad's there. And they get out of the car, and my dad says, Steve, take a look at this guy's roof. What do you think of it? And he's like, well, I don't know. It looks like a regular roof to me.
Yeah.
Like, take a closer look, Steve. And he's like, yeah, I guess it kind of looks old. My dad's like, this guy needs a new roof. And now who goes around looking at people's roofs, right? And saying this guy needs a new roof, right?
Now, are these people that your dad knew?
I don't know. I don't think so. He just,
wow.
He was just in this town where he lived, and he said, I want you to listen to this. You just start working for this guy, and your boss says, I want you to knock on this guy's door, and I want you to tell him someone is going to put a new roof on his house, but I don't want you to tell him it's me. and he drives off and leaves. And Steve's like, I'm standing there for a minute going, how am I going to do this? Like, the guy's going to think I'm a nut job, right? Ringing his doorbell and going, hey, we're going to replace your roof. But anyway, he says he rings the doorbell and the guy comes to the door and he's like, yeah, what do you want? And he's like, well, hey, I'm just kind of the messenger here. Somebody wants to put a new roof on your house and I can't tell you who it is. And the guy's like, is this a joke? Is this candid camera or what? You know?
Yeah, right.
So anyway, the guy, Steve says, no, this is for real. And he goes, do you want the same color shingles? Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. We're going to replace your roof. And off he goes. And they do it. And then I said a few weeks later, he gets another call from my dad and says, meet me at this house. And he meets him at the house. And he's like, take a look at this guy's car. What do you see? And he's like, oh, I see a car,
Yeah.
He's like, Steve, this guy needs tires on his car and I want to put them on him. So anyway, excuse me, this keeps going on. And so the entire time Steve works for him, he's doing the exact same thing, going around helping people. There was another guy, Mike, that worked for my dad that he said he was called by my dad one time and said, hey, I just found out this lady, her husband passed away. And this is the exact amount of money that they need to pay off their mortgage. How my dad knew that, I have no idea. And he said, come over here, get this check, cashier's check. I want you to deliver it to this lady and tell her I'm paying off her mortgage, but don't tell her who it's from. And he goes and does it. This Mike goes and does it. And Mike is still alive. And he said, this lady thought that it was me. And he goes, to this day, he goes, she still thinks that I'm the one that paid her mortgage off. She sees me and I keep telling her, I didn't have anything to do with it. Somebody else. But it was a great story, again, my dad somehow found out about this lady who is now a widow and had kids, but he took care of the rest of her mortgage, and it was unbelievable. Yeah.
And you talk about, I've heard you talk about that at the funeral, that the line was wrapped around 2 city blocks or whatever it was, waiting to get in to see you and your family and your dad, and that some lady came through. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Tell everybody about that. It's just amazing how Wing. Let me preface this by a couple of things. Number one, anybody just joining, Doug's new book, Giant Success. It's to honor his father who built the Little Giant Ladder Company. You've probably seen the infomercial. You probably may even own 1 or 2 or 5 of these ladders like me. Now hold on, I only have 3, or do I have 4? I have 3. I think I have 3. But which are phenomenal ladders, by the way. But the today is Hal Wing's birthday. He would have been 82 years old today, right? 82, yeah. Man. So we, by the grace of God, the timing of all of this has been just absolutely perfect. It chokes me up a little bit, man, because I feel like I'm genuinely participating in your dad's birthday party today. And we're doing that by saying, hey, spend $1.99 today, go over. There is a paperback version, but we're really trying to push everybody to at least get the Kindle version. You can get the paperback version also. The hardback version will be available hopefully by the end of next week. Doug's going to be able to offer signed hardback copies of it as well. And he's got a little special surprise for you when you buy a signed copy. You want to tell everybody that little surprise? Or do you want to make it a surprise?
Oh, whatever you want to, whatever. But yeah.
Go ahead. Tell them what you're going to do on your signature and what else.
Yeah. So when my dad passed away, we were going through his things, and in his office and also at his house. Thank you, Charles. Appreciate it. And my dad had a signature stamp that back in the day, they used to use that stamp to sign checks, whether they were payroll checks or accounts payable checks. And I asked my siblings, I said, does anybody want this? And they're like, no, we would just be throwing it away. And I was like, I don't know why, but I decided I was going to keep that stamp.
That's so awesome.
And then when I started doing this book, I thought, I still have that stamp, and everybody that wants his autographed copy will have his signature and my signature on the book. And his signature is really unique. So when you see, if you end up getting a autographed version, you'll see his signature, which is really, really cool. But anyway, the thing, we've been talking about these really neat stories, and this book is filled with those stories. But more than just the stories, this book is going to teach you the principles that made Hal Wing a successful person, not just a businessman, but also a philanthropist and just an amazing man. So, but yeah, Ken was talking about just a little bit ago, where when we were at the funeral home, and this was in August, and keep in mind in Utah, it was 100 degrees, and we had lines of people that were going around, like 2 city blocks. And as Ken mentioned, the governor of Utah, of course, he came in first. He jumped to the front of the line, but he had security and all that stuff. But
wow,
the thing that was interesting is that we had this little lady come up, and nobody in my family, nobody knew about this. And this little lady walked up to us and said, "Your dad bought me a house." She said, "I was homeless, and your dad bought me a home." We had no idea. I mean, there were so many people that he blessed, not just with money, but also with his time, and just these visits that I talked about, to be in the right place at the right time. And the people that he hired, the chances that he took on people that had come out of prison and that had been on tough times. And, he generally loved people, and he wanted to build people, and he did build people, and he created this amazing culture at Little Giant that people just wanted to work for him because of the stories that they had heard about how awesome of a boss he was, and, how he treated people and took care of them. And he was just an amazing human, amazing boss.
And what's really, something else is, integrity with your dad was probably, I would think, one of his top values, if not the top number one value. But he was he held people to a higher standard. And you said Chaz Wilson's on here, by the way. Hey, Chaz,
Yes.
it is definitely a legacy for sure. I started reading the book, like I said last night. It's just so incredible. But he expected everybody to operate the same way. He didn't realize people didn't think the way he thought, right? Or operate on the same level. Like you talk about him calling you in the middle of the night.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of things there is Hal Wing had the ability to see people not as they currently were, but he looked at people and saw what their potential was.
Yes.
So he had this gift, and he's like, I see potential in this guy. And so he would take these people and mentor them and shape them and help them. And one of them is the current CEO of Little Giant, who began in production, high school educated, Ryan Moss, great guy. And he saw something in Ryan Moss. He worked his way up. He groomed him. He helped him. He mentored him. And he's now the CEO of the company. And so he had this ability to do that. But yes, everybody thought like him. And when he went and created the first sales team, there were like 3 or 4 or 5 salesmen. And there's a guy named Clark Butler that was the sales manager. One of the very first trade shows, he came up to Hal and he goes, "Hey, Hal, we got a little bit of a problem." And my dad's like, "Well, what is it?" They're doing this trade show and they've gone for like 5 or 6 hours. And he goes, "Hey, the guys need to go to the bathroom and they need lunch." My dad goes, "They do?" And he goes, "Yeah, Hal, not everybody thinks like you.
Right.
Go to the bathroom. People need to eat lunch." And my dad's like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Well, let's just come up with a schedule." And so that, they did that.
Oh, that's so funny.
I mean, he was just so unique. Like one time I was on a motorcycle ride with my dad. I don't know if you've heard this story, Ken, but we're on a motorcycle ride. We never stopped to eat. I mean, he would stop and he'd say, "Fill up the bikes." Then he'd go to the bathroom, and then he'd come out and he wouldn't let you have the chance to go to the bathroom, and he'd be, "Let's be gone again." So I'm on a ride with my dad one time. He comes out with 2 bananas. He gives me one, he takes one. And keep in mind, we're riding motorcycles, right? Street bikes.
Yeah.
So you've got your gas, your brake here,
Yep.
your clutch with this hand, and he's gone. And we're doing like 90 miles an hour. And I'm like hungry, and I'm like, I can't peel a banana, eat it, and ride the motorcycle at the same time. So we go all the way, all day long, get to the hotel, and we're sharing a hotel room. And I pull out this banana out of my pocket, and it's black. And my dad starts laughing, and he goes, "You didn't eat your banana?" And I said, "I couldn't figure out how to peel it, eat it, and ride the motorcycle at the same time." He laughed. He goes, "That was easy. I did it." And I still don't know how he did it.
That's so funny. Brian Hess, thank you, bro. Brian's buying the Kindle version and some copies. I'm assuming the paperback or it. By the way, if you decide to buy the Kindle version for other people, call them after you email it to them and say download it, because it only counts as a sale if they download the book and open it. So just tell them to download it real quick, because we're trying to get this to #1, and honestly, it's very, very close. Right now, I'm going to refresh the page and see if it's changed yet. No, it's #4 in free enterprise, #27 in startups, and #37 in free enterprise and capitalism, which are the categories on it's number 46,215 overall in Kindle, which isn't bad considering there are millions of books in there. But you know, this book, it's been an 18-month project or so.
Yeah, and that's partly my fault because, I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I'd never written a book before, and
it's not about fault. I mean, dude, so everybody knows Doug lives in Phoenix. Most of the people that he interviewed live in Utah.
Yeah.
And there were some people that you personally visited one-on-one, but this was also during the pandemic and all of the COVID stuff and everything that was going on. So Doug was doing a lot of interviews with people, and Jamie Green, the Solar Queen, bought the Kindle and the paperback version. You rock. Of course you did, because she's a rock star. So, create a new section or wing, the latter section. Yes, Jamie, that's right. Doug, you wrote a book.
Yeah.
And you're a best-selling author now, dude. It's freaking unbelievable.
Yeah, and I grew too as a person, right? Doing this. I mean, I developed a new talent, and so as we learn how to do these new things that we sometimes think we can't do, we grow. And I really did grow. And then Ken, remember we did our first live, and I was nervous, of course, but now I've done so many podcasts and interviews myself that it's been real fun to tell these stories. And
it's incredible, dude.
Yeah, it's just been great.
I'm going to post the link to the paperback version as well. That is not the one. I mean, if you want to get it. I just posted. Oh, that's in the Grow Live Academy. Hang on a minute. Hang on.
And somebody can, while you're doing that, somebody asked about the selling a ladder to the one-armed man.
Oh, did you see that? Yeah, I was gonna get to that. Yeah, why don't you tell that story while Brian Hess, here's the link to the paperback version as well. So tell that, because again, I think it's unbelievably important that people understand how. Oh, hold on. Brian just sent me a screenshot. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my God. You're not going to believe this.
Can you share it? Do you know how to? Yeah, we can do it.
I can share it. Hold on. Wow, dude. You're not going to believe this. Where is that? Where? I clicked on the wrong one. Hang on. I got a surprise for Doug Wing. Hang on. Wait, dude. I'm not. Under. Yep. Look at this, dude. Oh my dear Lord. Get ready, dude. Get ready. Everybody, hang on. Everybody, I want you to congratulate my brother, Doug Wing, for being a #1 best-selling author.
Yeah, there it is right there.
Dude.
We better take a picture of that, Ken.
Dude. In Amazon hot new releases, your book is #1 in free enterprise and capitalism.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Is that awesome or what?
Man, it's mind-blowing. It is just mind-blowing. Yeah.
Wow. Brian Hess, thank you, my brother. Thank you for sending that to me. Glenn Bill, the great Glenn Bill, is on here with us too. Wow. Look at this, man. That is so awesome. No better category to be the leader in. So
Yeah.
true. Wow. Wow.
That's awesome. That is so cool.
Doug, how do you feel right now?
Like I said, it blows my mind. I've always wondered when thank you, Jamie, when I kind of went into semi-retirement and started another company, which is totally self-sustaining, in mostly multifamily housing and property management. I thought, what am I going to do with myself? And I'm very grateful to you and to Jeffrey Gitomer too. I want to give a little shout out to Jeffrey because he wrote the foreword for this book and he did a great job. I mean,
it's an amazing foreword.
Yeah. And he's done a lot of good books, and he's really the one that gave me the confidence and said, you can do this. You need to tell these stories. I was in Charlotte telling him these stories and he was like crying, getting a tear in his eye. And he said, you've got to share this with people. These stories have to be told because you can help people, that are in business or even in their personal life. You can help them. And I know that this book is going to help people. And that's what I wanted to make sure is that people realize that this book will help you in your life, with your family, with business, in your personal life, how to set goals, how to achieve, and never give up. I think it's going to really be helpful.
It's unbelievable, man. So you were starting to, here's somebody that you know.
Oh yeah, Brett. Yeah, he's a very good man. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
And is it his cousin that's married to Brett's dad? Yeah, my cousin Linda.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. That's so awesome. So sorry, you were
talking about the one-armed.
yeah. Sorry. The story. So I again go back to the work ethic that your dad had. Talk about that and how this story came about.
Yeah. So early on, my dad had like quotas every day, daily quotas to sell so many ladders. And keep in mind, he created a whole new category for ladders. This is in the 70s. As he started in the early 70s, but then as he got towards the later, 70s, when we had a bad economy, high interest rates, he was trying to sell a ladder that was probably $250 when he said you could go to Sears and buy a ladder for $9.99.
Look at that. Look at what Brian just said, dude.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much. That's
wow.
So awesome. Thank you, Brian.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So here he is trying to sell these over $200 ladders, and people, it was hard. It was not easy to sell a ladder for that kind of money back then. And so my dad had to sell one more ladder to make his quota that day. And he got a lead from somebody and they said, hey, go see this guy. I think he'll buy from you. My dad goes there and the guy's got one arm. And for those of you who have seen Little Giant ladders, you've got to push in these two buttons. You've got to pull out the pins. You got to be able to lift the ladder up and swing it over and all that. And so my dad goes over there and the guy says to him, Mr. Wing, if you can convince me that I can operate this ladder with one arm, I will buy from you. And the way my dad describes it is he says, seriously, me and this guy, he goes, I put one arm behind my back to show the guy. And he says,
Oh
me
my
and this
God.
guy are wrestling with the ladder. I mean, he goes, it's down on the ground. We're down there. He goes, I'm using my, he goes, I'm using my elbow, my arm, my one arm. I have my knees. He goes, I'm using my chin. He goes, I'm down there and the guy's down there and I'm showing him. And
Oh
he,
my gosh.
I convinced the guy, and he goes, he buys the ladder, and he says, I couldn't believe it. And, I think the
Uh,
thing about my dad was he never, ever, ever gave up. I talk about this all the time. I never saw my dad down at Little Giant. There were times when I'm telling you, I was sweating. I thought, we're going out of business. We're not going to make it. And my dad,
wow.
the one guy, he would look at you and he'd say, we've always made it and we're going to make it. And he believed it, and we did. I mean, it was incredible. He was just, he had this confidence that was just over the top.
Wow. It's unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
I just, and for everybody watching, Doug doesn't own the company anymore. He sold it. For, I think you got like $500 out of it, right? I'm kidding. So Doug sold the company but I will tell you the ladders, they're the best in the world. I have one outside my door in the closet. You know where I'm talking about, Doug. You were here. And it's the little what do they call it? The little I have the little three stepper.
Yeah, the 50 step. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that ladder is so awesome. And they're not that I don't think they're very expensive. I mean, I think that was $100 maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, they're incredible.
One of the things that is really amazing about my dad is in the beginning, I talked about creating the new category of ladders, and his very first trade show. Oh, very much. Thank you, Brian.
Yes, Brian.
He had amazing faith. But at the very first trade show my dad was at, the two brothers of the largest ladder company in the world walked up to my dad and laughed in his face and said, Mr. Wing, you are a fool. You are going to fail. And he said that day, he goes, that motivated me. And he said, I was going to show those guys, And the thing about it that's funny is that company tried to buy my dad's company 4 times and he would never sell to him. And towards the end of towards the end of my career, one of those brothers walked up to me at a trade show, and he had since was retired.
Yeah.
And they had sold their company, and he said, I have the utmost respect for your father. What he did, he says, was incredible. And he goes, if I'm going to tell you something, but he said, if you ever tell anybody, I will deny it. But he goes, the only ladder I have at my house, a Little Giant. And this is like the largest ladder company in the world. And
that is so awesome, dude.
Amazing. But the sincerity of this guy, he said, I respect your father. And I mean, you could tell he was dead serious. And when he told me he had a Little Giant at his house, I was like, wow, that's cool. Yeah.
Dude, there's Leslie. There's the dude that does all the graphics. He did all the graphics for us, man.
Hey, Leslie, that you look at amazing what he did, Ken. He's unbelievable.
He is absolutely unbelievable.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. It's a great story. That's like Henry Ford going to GM saying, hey, I got a Chevy in the garage. It's the only thing I have. It's amazing, dude. It's amazing.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's what Jeffrey Gitomer says in the forward. He goes, these stories are they're absolutely unbelievable, but he goes, they're all true and honest and they're real stories. So they're pretty amazing. Yeah. Everybody's going to be blown away by some of these stories. Yeah. And there was a lot of stories that couldn't make the book. I mean, there was just so many, it was really to decide, okay, which ones are we going to leave out,
Yeah. It's unreal. Absolutely unbelievable. First off, I want to say thank you to everybody and we're going to be sending out some emails. So if you're on the email list, you're going to be getting emails today. Oh, you're welcome, Leslie. You're a good dude. That dude right there, they don't make him any
Yes.
better than that guy, man. He's a good dude. He's a giving, caring person, just like you and your dad, man. But everybody that is watching that has shared this out, thank you for sharing this out. If you bought a copy of the Kindle book, thank you. Doug, I'm sure would.
Thank you so
Yeah.
yeah, thank you very much. I mean, this has been a great experience, and I couldn't have done this, and I can't do it without the support of everyone out there that's getting this book and the Kindle, because it really helps me. But also, I know it's going to bless your lives as well as you read and study about a great man. Hey, Victoria.
Victoria, go pick up the Kindle version. The link is in the comments. I've put it in multiple times. I will do it one more time. I'm going to post the link one more time for everybody to go pick up a copy of this. Oh my gosh, number one, it's right there. Number one new release in free enterprise and capitalism, man. That's so incredible. Just absolutely incredible.
There's a Little Giant employee on right there too, Ken Margot. Yeah, Margot's great.
Oh, Margo, thank
Hey,
you for being
let me
here.
tell you something about Margot. She collects the money. She's accounts receivable at Little Giant, and she does such a good
Nice.
job. I want to give a shout out to Margot. She does such a good job that one of our top distributors called me one time and he says, "Could I hire Margot in her spare time to collect bills for me?"
Yeah.
Well, she just hounds me until I pay.
I
And so
think I need Margo. Margo, you looking for a job?
I'm telling you, you should hire Margot, Ken, on the side. She'd get your money, man. She'll come after people.
she she's vicious, huh?
But
So
she's a
everybody needs a good money collector, man.
yeah, you need a Margot.
Everybody.
Everybody needs a Margot. She's great.
Yeah. That's she said I'm a bulldog. That's awesome. So please, I know that some people are waiting for the hardback versions and all of that. That'll be available towards hopefully the end of next week. But if you would please go to the link that I've posted in the comments, just go to the link and pick up the Kindle version, because we want to make this thing number one in all categories across Amazon on the Kindle version today. If you would please go over and just click that link. I have it scrolling across the bottom. If you would type that into the comments, I'd be very, very grateful. I know it's a wonky looking link, but if you could type that into the comments exactly the way it looks on screen, that would be make it clickable and people can well, here, I'll post it as well. It's a looks different because I had to refresh the page, so it looks different. It's the same link though. So go pick up a copy of the Kindle version of the book. Let's rocket this thing to number one in all of Amazon. And because look, like I said, my wife wrote the book with Doug. I mean, I've only read bits and pieces of it, but I started reading it last night when it hit my Kindle. I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't even believe it. It's so good. It is
Hey,
so good.
you called me and you said, I am literally in tears reading
I
this.
had tears streaming down my face in one part of the book. It's so incredible. And I think I was feeling emotional because you're one of my very best friends on the planet. And like, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, man, all of this, cause I remember saying, dude, you need to get this book done, man. Let's go. And you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm going to play golf. No, I'm kidding. But you were like, I will. And I kept pushing you. And it's amazing that this whole thing came together and it released on Hal's birthday. So happy birthday, Hal Wing. Doug, I'm proud of you and honored to call you my best friend, man. You're incredible.
Thank you, Ken. I feel the same way about you. And you know what's funny is your wife Jill, after she watched the videos of the interviews and we worked together. She told me one day, she goes, when you pass, if you believe in the afterlife, the next
Yeah.
life and everything,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I want to see my parents again. I want to see my family. Jill Walls said to me, she goes, one of the first people I want to see and meet in the next life is Hal Wing. I thought that was really cool.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Me too. The man is, if everybody watching could build a life based on the principles that Hal Wing lived by, you would have an incredible life.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have an incredible life.
Yeah. And in this book, we talk about how to do that. We'll teach you what to, how to work with people, how to give, how to serve, how to love, how to have good attitude, how to be positive and take calculated risks and build things. Yeah,
I love at the end of each chapter the Hal ways.
Yeah,
There's Hal, HALWAYS. There's Hal ways and how to's.
Yeah,
like really, really cool. Like at the end of the first chapter, success was Hal's only option, and he didn't waver.
Yeah,
For Hal, there was always an opportunity to be selling. Hal didn't wait for opportunities to present themselves. He took opportunities and turned them into sales.
Mm-hmm.
This is such a good book. I mean, it's incredible. So everybody go pick up the Kindle version. If you don't have Kindle on your phone or iPad or whatever, you can download it. It's free. Just download the Kindle app to your phone or your iPad or your tablet, and you can get the book right now for $1.99. During the launch period, it's only $1.99 to have this book on your Kindle, and you can start reading it immediately. And it's a phenomenal book. Jared just got it.
Jared.
Thank you, Jared. Jared's a good dude. There's a good dude right there. So
Hey,
listen.
Yeah, go ahead, Ken.
And I know now, I mean, when you left Little Giant, when you retired or sold the company, it was in the 200 million a year range. You said recently, I think they're probably closer to 300 a year, 300 million a year now, but it's a massive, massive company. And the longevity of it started in 1972. I mean, it's been around for a minute, right? So
yeah.
It's incredible. If you want to learn how to build a long-term, he says he can, but when I was at his house in Arizona, dude, he has dirt bikes sitting in his garage, and I'm like, bro, let's go, man. He's like, oh no, we can't. I said, that's because you know that I'll show you up, man.
Probably, yeah. I'm slow, I'm sure.
No, Doug's been on dirt bike. I think Doug was put on a dirt bike the very first time he could stand up. So, can you pop a wheelie on a dirt bike?
Yeah, we can do it.
Look, Jared said I would pay to see Ken hit a wheelie. So, can you ride a wheelie? Can you do it? Can you keep it going?
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
On a dirt bike, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll bet you can, dude. I'll bet you can. I've seen the pictures and the videos, man, of Doug flying through the air between jumps. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. It's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah, one of the things that, I just wanted to say too is Hal Wing had this incredible vision, even at a young age. I mean, I interviewed my aunt, who's the last Wing sibling, and she was saying at 12 years old, now try to think about what you were thinking about at 12, right?
Yeah.
At 12 years old, my dad and his sister are going for a walk. And my dad points up to the mountain in their town in Springville, Utah, and said, someday I'm going to live on that mountain. And I'm going to have a house right up there that's going to be higher than anybody's on that mountain. I'm like 12 years old. And guess what? He did. He had a he was sitting on the top of a mountain on 11 acres, private road, all gated, all fenced. And I'm like, what kind of a guy at 12 years old knows he's going to do that, right?
Wow.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Dude, I'm looking at all the categories right now. In new releases and startups, the book is, let me share the screen here. In new releases and startups, the book is ranked number 2 right now.
Wow.
And then we go to let me see. Here's the category. So under free enterprise, it's currently number 4. Now remember, they refresh these about once every hour.
Cool.
It's number 1 in new releases and free enterprise. You are a number 1 best-selling author, my friend. Number 1 best-selling author. And let's see, under free enterprise and capitalism, which Brian had already sent this to us, but there it is under new releases. It is number 1 there as well. So you're number 1 in 2 different categories under Amazon hot new releases right now, man. It's going to continue climbing all day long because we're going to get a lot more people that share this out, and we're going to get a lot more people that are like going to go buy the book. I mean, it's $1.99, y'all. It's
Yeah, I mean,
$1.99.
you go buy a cup of Starbucks, it'll cost you a lot more than $1.99.
Yeah, and this will give you the ability to buy more Starbucks after you read it and apply the principles. Debbie, there's Debbie. I love Debbie. She's amazing. So, Doug, congratulations, dude. Everybody listen up. We're going to be live off and on all day long today telling Hal Wing stories, celebrating Hal Wing's birthday today. Doug, congratulations for being number 1 on Amazon, dude. Number 1 best-selling author.
Well, thank you, Ken, and thank you to everyone that's helped do that, because I wouldn't be here without it. So thank you, everyone, for getting that Kindle and the book, and I know it's going to help you. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. So we'll be back on later talking some more Hal Wing stuff and Giant Success stuff, and maybe even throw in a couple of little surprises here and there. So if you see us pop on, I might try to convince Doug Wing to give away another little giant ladder today. I don't know if we'll talk about it. Let me see if I can convince him. But hey, you guys, thank you all so much. I appreciate you, Doug. Huge congratulations. I love you, bro. I appreciate you and everything you've done for me and my family, and just grateful to call you a friend, man.
Thank you, Ken. I love you too, buddy.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Have an awesome afternoon. We'll see you guys here in a little bit. We'll be live again. Talk to you later.